And we're live. Welcome to this episode of this show again that has no name. And happy
Happy
Monday.
Monday, everybody.
Happy
Mhm.
Monday. And to my Canadian friends, happy Thanksgiving if you were celebrating. Um, Super excited to chat today because it is the follow-up conversation to the time tracking sheets that we looked at last week. So, Lorianne, first of all, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Lorianne here. I am formerly a professional speaker, and now I help coaches and consultants take the stage, leverage speaking opportunities to deliver their message, and also monetize their expertise.
Awesome. And I am Jeremy DeMerchant, founder of SalesEdge.io, the all-in-one platform to put your coaching or consulting business on autopilot. So, Lorianne, last week you gave us all homework
I
and you
did give
wanted
I
us,
gave I
yeah,
gave lots
you
of homework.
did.
Gave everybody the link to download a copy of the time tracking sheet. No email required. If you are just joining this one and you didn't hear the one before that, I want to encourage you to go to last week's, download that sheet, and just kind of like watch that video first so that you know exactly what to do. So then today's explanation is going to make a lot of sense. So, the whole reason why we wanted to encourage you to do this is there's a lot of stuff that we can feel like we're busy in our business. But once you start, actually, here's exactly what I did from this time to this time. Because, Jeremy, how many times have you said to yourself, oh, I'm going to engage on social media, whatever platform it is? You're like, just for like 10 minutes, because that's what the algorithm says, just 10 minutes a day at least. And then before you know it, 45 minutes has gone by.
Yeah, in fact, it was so bad at one point I actually in my phone put blockers to time me and stop me from being on platforms
Oh,
for too long because it was just absorbing so much time.
very
Those
nice,
those
to
dopamine
have that
hits.
kind, yeah, to have that kind of discipline. But like as business owners, we all know that we also have to engage on social media. But is watching TikTok videos about dancing cats, is that really helping your business? Probably not. So, anyways, nothing against dancing cats. I actually I love animal videos. But this exercise is to help you see what activities can only you be doing. What activities could you possibly be delegating? What activities, like how many personal activities are you doing during business hours? And then also being able to take a peek at this and see, wow, that's taking way too much time. Maybe I need to template that. Maybe I need to outsource that. Maybe I need some sort of a system for this so that would help you, expedite whatever that particular task is. And we'll get a little bit more into that. So, what I recommend is that you pull out three different highlighters. So, what you're going to highlight is first off, pick a color, the things that only you can do. So, go and look at your time tracking and just highlight the things that only I can do this. Like for myself, couple of the things that only I can do is I'm the only one who can coach my clients. I'm the only one who can be coached by my coach. I'm the only one who can do sales calls. I'm the only one who can record my podcast episodes, whether that's solo or with a guest. Jeremy, can you just like share one of yours that you're just like, here's something that only I can do. I can't outsource this.
Well, so I actually want to challenge you on some of yours because eventually, as we grow our businesses, we might
Mhm.
be able, depending on the businesses, you might be able to have another coach on your team that can coach for you. Tony, right?
Okay, okay, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes.
Tony Robbins, his podcast, you mentioned your podcast. Now, yes, you're the face, you're the voice, but even Tony Robbins actually, his whole podcast is just clips from other things that he does, and his team makes it into a
Yes.
podcast. So we could go to the
Yes.
extreme. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
But let's go back
That's
to things that
repurposing.
right. But repurposing very well, I might add. So
Mhm.
for me, the things that only I could do. I mean, I was highlighting in green my sleep. I can only sleep for me. Right.
Mhm.
And I'd used green because I thought, okay, this is good. This is a good thing. Let's keep this going. It's kind of like the gold star. This is the thing that only I can be doing. And as I bring my sheet up here, um, most of my like getting for the ready for the day kind of stuff was all green. I did have some personal things in the mix, like I went to get a haircut, but no one else can go get a haircut for me. However, there might be ways for me to take less time getting a haircut, like have a closer barber, or maybe have someone come here to cut my hair on site, as an example. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the other things were like specific meetings that I had with like key decision makers, and one thing that I will point out that I shouldn't have had to do or that took too much time. There was some administrative stuff that was very important to move a sale forward, but didn't necessarily have to be me because it was email responses. And one was putting together a proposal and an invoice. And so that was the thing that stood out to me. And then so I highlighted those in red because those are things that should be delegated or have a better process. And there was a couple of things that I put in yellow, which I'm calling kind of an in between was my approach to it, where the meeting probably needed to be me, but if I get really creative, either that meeting didn't need to happen at all, or there could have
Okay.
been a way to save me that time.
So if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, what I want you to take away from like this conversation that's happening right now is how you start to analyze it when you start to see it in front of you, exactly what you've been doing and how much time it was taking, because a lot of this stuff, like if you had looked back on the day without like really keeping track of your time, you wouldn't have been able to like, wow, I did kind of spend a lot of time on that. And maybe somebody else could have actually, there's another way to do it.
Hmm.
This is just how we get better and more efficient. And the most important thing is as the CEO, as the person who, the visionary leader of your business, is to keep you in those activities that move the business forward, not hold it stagnant.
Hmm. And some
Mm-hmm.
other things that, like I'll mention that I realized, especially where there was the invoice and the proposal situation going on. Now I, of course, use Sales Edge for my system, but because the proposal feature is so new in the system, I didn't have the templates pre-built. So that's something that I can do going forward to say, great, now I've got a section or a version that I can just clone and edit for my next proposal or next invoice.
Very nice. Very nice. That's something that I need to do within Sales Edge also, is to have all my, not the proposal, but more my contracts with
Mhm.
clients.
Yep.
But, just being able to see like how many personal errands you were doing during the day. Is there a way to, be a little more strategic about them? You know, doing them all at once versus constantly going out. Or like for me yesterday, like I went to the post office, and then I went to Home Depot because I've got somebody who's showing up at the house today who's going to be, like starting to do, some work here at the house. So I almost feel like yesterday was more of a personal day. Like when I really look at things, it just feels more of a personal day. But anyways, it also was Sunday, so whatever. But just different things that you start to notice when you're keeping track of all the activities that you're doing. And that's the whole point of this exercise, was just to make you aware, because numbers don't lie. And that's why I'm having you use 3 different color highlighters so that you can see all the different things, like only I can do these things. And I really appreciate the fact that you were challenging me, Jeremy, because you're right that, like as my business grows, there are going to be different roles that I'm going to move up into. And I will probably have coaches that are going to be, coaching, like probably in my group programs versus, like my one-on-one clients. I mean, that's why they hire me, so that they have my eyes on their presentation. I'm the one who helps them really craft amazing stories that engage with the audience. But this is just a useful exercise to keep doing. I know that I'm going to keep doing it. I'm kind of glad that we ended up talking about this personally.
Yeah, and I want to add one thing because I found that there were a couple of days where I found like I was being very efficient, like to the point where like while I was making my lunch, I had a webinar or a training video in the
Mm-hmm.
background because this is something that just from an awareness. Now I'm tracking it. How do I make it as efficient as possible? Which was really good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I also got to the end of some of the days going, I don't feel like I got anything accomplished. And I would encourage people to add, and maybe there's something we can update in the template even. Like I would like to have an area where I can write kind of a summary of like things I'm really glad I did or like big wins for the day. Because I got
Mm-hmm.
to the end of the day. Now, this is, and as I mentioned last week, I'm in a state where I'm trying to wrap up my day earlier than normal, almost making like a half day for me versus what was a normal day, which was like 12 hours or something crazy. Um, and so I got to some of the days and felt like oh, I did all this stuff, but I don't know where I moved the needle. And it was because I didn't take the time to write down what needles got moved. So I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's look. Hey, look, this one day I did this proposal and moved the sale forward. Yes, I took more time than I needed to, but hey, this one's closer to being closed. And same with, the other one. So I think that adding in, and there's a note section on your template, but to add in the things that you're kind of accomplishing that
Mm-hmm.
win that thing, I think that's going to be helpful as well. And I'm going to hit you with this on the fly. Maybe next week we can talk about how much should I say? I want to make it a tease, but
Okay.
next week,
Make it a tease.
next week, I want to show you how you can use this time tracking approach to actually show yourself how close you are to achieving your financial goals. So I'm going to borrow a model from a mentor of mine, and we're going to integrate it with what you're doing.
Okay, let's not
Um,
say any more
and
because I
that's
know what
it.
we're talking
That's it.
about. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that's
Um,
a great lead in for the following week.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was great because now I can look at my time, really valuable. And the fact again that I was paying attention to it made me want to be more efficient, not just because I knew I was going to talk about it this week, but because the goal is to be like when I'm at work, let me be all at work. Let me be totally focused and as optimized as I possibly can and efficient,
Mhm.
so that when I'm not at work, I can be not at work.
Right. Right. Love that. That's great. So just want to encourage everybody, like, keep doing this. If you haven't started doing this, start doing it. This is how we optimize our time. We get more productive. We can figure out like what should I be doing? What should somebody else be doing? And love to hear any insights that you had while doing this. Type them down below. Jeremy and I will come back and we will answer any questions that you have, or we'd just love to hear your insights that you've had while doing this exercise. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you then. So remember, guys, get uncomfortable, get results. Cheers.